Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell the truth about silver. Today is Saturday, the 11th of November 2023, and we're publishing our gold and silver weekly update for the week ending the 10th of November. Gold and silver fell last week. Was this just profit-taking and consolidation before the next big rise? Well, let's take a look. Now, firstly, just a quick reminder, we've set up a second channel entitled Finances Do Matter, covering a whole array of financial topics. We've placed a link in the description box and comment section below for those who have not yet joined the channel. Meanwhile, going back to what happened last week and what we expect to happen this coming week, gold fell $54 last week, falling from $1,992 to $1,938. Having hit a high of 1994 and a low of 1933, a fall of 2.7%. In sterling terms, it was down £24 at £1,587, and in euros it closed at €1,816. That's down €43. Silver performed worse. It actually fell 96 cents, falling from $23.22 to $22.26, having been as high as $23.32 and as low as $22.21, a fall of 4.1%. In sterling terms, it's down 55p at £18.25, and in euros, it fell 0.82 euros at 20.88 euros. Obviously, the gold to silver ratio rose, which it did from 85.8 to 1 to 87.1 to 1. The difference between gold's high and low was $61, and the difference between silver's high and low was $1.11. All this during a week of virtually no announcements. Now, this is what we said last week concerning our forecast. We expect gold to trade between 1950 and 2025, with 1925 to 2050 as outliers. Until late on Thursday, gold did trade within our normal band, but then fell off on Friday and traded within the lower end of our outlier forecast. We also stated that we expected silver to trade between $22.50 and $24, with $22.25 as outliers. Silver was more choppy during the week and moved in and out of our outlier band into our normal trading band a few times, closing just above its week's low, but still within our outlier band. Looking at other financials, well, Bitcoin stands at $37,141. That's up $2,369 on the week. Cryptocurrencies are having a bit of a renaissance. Equities were up in the US, but mainly thanks to its rise on Friday. The Dow Jones closed up 222 points at 34,283. The S&P 500 up 57 points at 4,415, and the Nasdaq Composite up 320 points at 13,798. The UK's FTSE 100 index, however, fell 57 points at 7,360. Good news on oils, lower for the week. Brent crude down $3.46 at $81.43. Let's get that below $80, please. And WTI crude at $77.17 was down $3.34 on the week. The dollar index was up 0.84 points at 105.86. Now, in terms of economic data coming out of the United States last week, we saw on Tuesday consumer credit figures for September coming in at $9.5 billion, and initial jobless claims on Thursday falling by 3,000 to 217,000. Preliminary consumer sentiment figures on Friday were also down from 63.8% to 60.4% for November. Now, we said last week that gold's performance was disappointing because for most of the week we saw traders sell both the futures and the physical. In fact, we added that gold's rise towards the end of the week was almost in perfect alignment with the lowering value of the US dollar. Well, this weakness continued throughout trading last week, with profit-taking and consolidation being the goal for traders. Technically, gold is trading near the 38.2% Fibonacci level, where traditionally one sees value hunting and the prospect of some buying. A number of analysts are claiming this is the normal consolidation phase before a jump back up to the $2,000 level. Well, we'll comment on this in a few moments. Silver performed poorly and closed around the 50-week EMA. Silver suffered from two issues. The first being the tensions in the Middle East subsided a little, in that the greatest fears, which pushed both silver and gold considerably higher, have not yet materialized. That does not mean they won't, of course. And also there is much talk, the second point, of a recession. If not in the US, then certainly in the UK and Europe, with China also not performing as well as many anticipated. A recession will of course adversely affect the industrial demand for silver. If silver should turn around, analysts are predicting a rise to $24. And if it continues to fall, they are most confident in a super strong support level at $20. What also affected precious metals was Jerome Powell's hawkish statements during the week, coupled with comments from a number of Fed governors and officials casting doubts that interest rates have peaked, thereby causing both Treasury yields and the dollar value to rise. With silver trading below the 200-day and 50-day moving averages, this normally, at least from a technical analysis point of view, suggests a bearing trend. Now, this coming week, there's quite a lot of important data being announced in the United States. On Monday, we have the monthly US federal budget for October. Tuesday, really important day, very, very important, consumer price index for October. Markets analysts are expecting this to fall to 0.1% for the month, and core CPI are predicted to hold at 0.3%. So this would mean, if these forecasts are accurate, that the annual rate of CPI should fall from 3.7% to 3.3%, and core CPI remaining firm at 4.1%. Obviously, any deviation from this, either higher or lower, will have an impact on markets. Wednesday, also important day, we have the producer price index, and more importantly than that, the US retail sales for October. And they're actually expected to fall from the previous month of 0.7% to minus 0.1%. Again, we should be noting this. Thursday, we have the import price index and industrial production, and Friday, housing starts and building permits. In addition to this, we have a significant number of Fed officials providing statements and commentary. We shall see how much cohesion there is there. So, a considerable amount of data being presented. The one saving grace is that the FOMC does not meet again until December, with its interest rate decision due on the 13th. So there will be another round of economic data to come before their decisions are made. Therefore, we're not saying what's coming out isn't important, but it's not going to have the same effect as it would have if we had another interest rate decision to be made in November. Now, Moody's rating of the US economy on Friday downgraded it from neutral to negative, though it still retains its AAA status. However, it is clearly pointing out that the US will struggle to pay off its debts without some serious public spending cuts or additional revenue intake. So how does this bode for gold and silver? Well, we're not confident the rally is as yet over, though we did forecast consolidation for a week or two after recent rises. We have a number of uncertainties. The Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, and a host of economic data, all so far suggesting that the US economy is still robust, though cooling a little. We should, of course, know more after we see this week's data, and considerably more when we see the results of the trading period over Christmas. Now, we didn't like the fact that both gold and silver closed just marginally above their week's low, and cannot help but suspect there may be some continuing in the downtrend, though we still hold the view there will be a recovery of sorts before the year end. We also cannot ignore the fact that in the space of less than a month, the cryptocurrency market has increased in value by over $500 billion, when most analysts believed it was heading for the knacker's yard. Monies that could have gone into precious metals. So our prediction for this week is that gold will trade between $1,900 and $2,000, with 1875 and 2025 as outliers. Our silver forecast is that it will trade between 21.50 and 23, with 21 being the floor, the absolute floor, and 23.75 as the absolute ceiling for this week, not for the year, for this week. What do you think? Please do share your thoughts. Meanwhile, we'd appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and press that all-important bell sign. Again, if you haven't done so, please sign up to our Finances Do Matter channel, link below. And it just remains for us to wish you a safe, enjoyable weekend. And as always, a prosperous week ahead.